You talked about editors a lot too, and like certain skills that they're looking for, and what you're also looking for in an editor.
Yeah.
For aspiring journalists, I mean, the more digital it becomes, it really becomes a different game. So what skills would editors be looking for in aspiring journalists in 2020?
Yeah. I think still it's very basic. Write what you know and write for an audience that you don't have to explain everything for. And I think, for example, myself, I write a lot about food, race, Asian American experience. And I don't find that difficult because that's who I am.
Right.
I don't have to pretend I'm a parachute journalist going into some foreign place like that.
Yeah.
I think you need to be able to take rejection, because I don't think, I think when you see people publish articles, oh, here's my new New York Times piece, or here's my new Vice piece, they went through so many pitches that you don't expect. So the ability to really just be like, okay, brush it off and be like, that was a rejection, fine, I'll go to the next editor and pitch to the next person.
Yeah, totally. Do you have favorite stories that you've covered? Like, I know that's kind of a vague question, but like, what pops into your mind when you say, you know what, that's probably in the top 3?
Yeah. I think most of my favorite stories are definitely stories I freelance, because I think when you're freelancing, you're super passionate about that topic or that story.
Yeah.
So the first one was when I was in Taiwan, and I saw this Chinese article about like all these, the NBA courtside seats, the plush ones. Mm-hmm. They're made in this tiny factory in Taiwan. And it's like this tiny, like in the middle of these rice fields, it's this tiny metal shack. And they make all the collegiate like chairs as well. So like the NCAA chairs, like even some high school sports teams.
Right.
So fascinating, because it's like, it literally looks like a home shop. And the owner was this like elderly man who spoke very slowly, but was very proud of his products. Like he's like, you can go buy, cheaper chairs, but we have like a 20-year warranty on this, and we only like make maybe like 200 per day, because we want to make the quality really good. And nobody knows that, like all these seats that like Jay-Z and Beyonce sit on, and Shawn Mendes or Justin, whatever, all the celebrities sit on, it's made in this tiny shack in Taiwan. And it was raining so bad that day, I took an Uber there, and my Uber driver waited for me for 2 hours. Because it's so remote.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
that was one of my favorite stories. My second favorite one was also a Taiwanese story. There is this high school in Taiwan. These girls, they come from underprivileged families. So the only way to get into a good university is through a sports scholarship.
Right.
And so they choose tug of war as a sport. And you see these girls, especially when you're a teenage girl, like you want to be beautiful, and their beauty standards is very thin and small and fragile. But you see their hands, and it's all like blemish. It's like they don't even have proper equipment to train, and some of them have to gain weight to make weight class. And they've been winning like gold medals forever. And I went to that school, watched them like train and practice, and it was so sweet but sad at the same time for me, because like, this is their only way to ensure that they get into a good university. And I asked them, like, is it difficult? Like, do you find it tough? And she's like, oh, I just want to make my parents proud. And I almost cried in front of her.
Yeah.
Like, these are 15-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a proper sport, they're not on a sports scholarship per se. They practice before class, go to class a whole day, like 8 to 3, and then practice after school. Like, the resilience and just like the drive of these kids was so impressive.
Yeah. Wow. That's an insane amount of like pressure in such a like an odd way to live too, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then covering the Taiwanese election, the presidential election, was crazy as well. Yeah.